So what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper, and welcome everybody to another video here today on the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be going over are the top 10 worst guns in PUBG. Now, in the past, we've done lists where we talked about the best guns, we've ranked every weapon, but we've never really sat down and talked about the 10 worst guns and figured out exactly what makes these guns so bad in the first place. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And let me make this very clear before we start. By me making this video, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to like these weapons. In fact, the top 10 worst guns on this list could end up being your top 10 best weapons for all I care. It doesn't really matter. All we're here to do is have a discussion about why these guns are generally considered to be the worst in the game, and that's it. And also, a lot of these picks are community driven. I asked in my Discord, I put up a little poll and asked everybody what is their least favorite weapon or what do you think is the worst gun in PUBG. So a lot of these are just, from you guys. And if you want to take part in future polls, go join my Discord server, links in the description down below. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. So anyways, nonetheless, if you guys have been enjoying the video, a like rating would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. And of course, if you're brand new around here and you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do that for daily PUBG content. We're getting close to 250,000 subscribers, and every single new one does help. So thank you very much once again. But anyways, let's get into the top 10 worst guns in PUBG. All right, so coming in at our number 10 spot really surprised me. This is the VSS. And by the way, as we go up in this list, the guns are going to get progressively worse. So 10 being pretty good and, like average, I guess. And then 1 is going to be obviously what we consider the worst gun. So anyways, the VSS was super popular in the poll that I asked you guys in the Discord about the worst gun. And so many people were saying this, and I was trying to figure out exactly why that is. Now, while I don't personally think the VSS is some kind of like atrocious monster and it sucks or anything like that, I think it's useful in the right scenario. However, the problem is if you ask any PUBG player and you give them a chance and you say, hey, look, you can pick any DMR or sniper for this match, what are you going to pick? Nobody is going to be selecting the VSS because the VSS for the most part can't do anything that the other DMRs can't do better. You know what I'm saying? You want raw time to kill? The VSS fires literally pistol rounds, so it's not going to do too much in that department. You want to be stealthy and hide from your enemies? It's pretty okay at that, but you can also put like a suppressor on a Mini 14 and it almost gets the same job done with a higher kill power and everything. So you combine the fact that it doesn't really do anything extraordinarily well, and also that it's super rare and a lot of people don't get a lot of playtime with it. It's very hard to use if you're not experienced. So if you ask me, as time went on and more DMRs and weapons got added, the VSS really lost its niche in my opinion in the meta, and it just isn't what it used to be anymore. And I just don't think it's that good of a weapon, to be honest. And again, that was quite surprising because I didn't think it'd be on a top 10 worst guns list for most people, but I was wrong. All right, guys, so coming in at number 9 is one that I actually completely understand. This is the MK47 Mutant. Now, this got added a few months ago, and myself included, a lot of players were just not really a big fan of this because it has some really weird handling properties, and it's outshined by every other single AR in its class. But it's coming in at number 9 today because I don't think that this is objectively a horrible weapon. It's not very popular with players, and it's not very common either, and I think there's a reason for that, but it's just something that like, as far as overall utility, it's not the worst thing in the world to find. When it comes to assault rifles, comparing it to the AKM, up close and stuff, like an AK is going to beat it any day of the week. And not to mention, a 2-round burst firing weapon just feels very awkward in players' hands. This is the only weapon in the game that fires like that, and I don't think we're quite used to it at this point. And it's also not very clear on how the Mutant should be used. Should it be an up-close weapon? Should you single tap it? But if that's the case, the SKS is way better at single tapping than the Mutant. So what's the deal with this gun? I don't know, man. At the end of the day, it's not like you're helpless if this is the only gun you find, but it's a pretty easy weapon to trade out and justify trading it out. Any other like rifle that you find on the ground, you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna ditch the Mutant. And again, while this was a popular choice from the players that I asked, that they said this was one of the worst guns, I put it high up because I don't think it's as bad as some people might think or say. But moving on, and coming in today at number 8, guys, is kind of a weird one. This is the Scorpion pistol. Objectively, this is a pile of hot garbage, but the special thing about this weapon is that it has so many slots for attachments, so if you really want to invest your time and resources getting attachments for it, you can turn it into like a little pocket SMG. It's like almost having a UMP as your third pistol slot, which is, I guess, kind of useful. However, the problem is this pistol seems to be very, very rare, like rarer than even some airdrop weapons. It's pretty crazy. I don't see it hardly at all in public matches, and when I do, I throw it away pretty much immediately when I get it. It's not worth to put attachments on it. You'd be better off putting that on like your primary or secondary, so I don't think this one really gets a lot of love, but when you put attachments on it, I guess it's not that bad, but if you have the vanilla version of the weapon, it's a yikes. Although, if you're playing carelessly and your enemy knows exactly what they're doing and they've got full attachments on their Scorpion, you could possibly get melted faster than the Wicked Witch of the West, you know what I'm saying? It's definitely a weird gun though, and I don't think it's very good. Moving on here, and coming in today at our number 7 spot, guys, is the Tommy gun, and believe it or not, this gun actually used to be really sick. In fact, it was in airdrops only, and it was a gun that players genuinely liked getting out of drops or were excited to have, and then they completely went and neutered it, and now we're all pretty familiar with the Tommy gun, the version that's in the game today, and it's just not very good when you compare it to the other SMGs and even some other weapon classes in this game, right? Sometimes it's pretty easy to outplay somebody if they have a Tommy gun and you even have a pistol if you get them to bait their shots and miss a little bit, because once you get to start spraying the Tommy gun, it's really hard to control because it probably has the worst weapon steadiness in the game, and it's very easy just to whiff everything you shoot. But it does have two pretty good redeeming factors. The fact that you can put on a vertical foregrip, that is the one and only grip that you can attach to the Tommy gun in PUBG, and also the fact that you can put an extended mag on it and increase the ammo capacity to 50. It used to have a 100 round capacity back when it was in drops, but I don't think we're ever going to see those glory days again. But the Tommy gun has probably caught the most tragic nerf in video game history, I would say. It used to have a function in the game, right? Because you had the Vector and the UMP, which one was best at close range and the best was probably for long range, but the Tommy gun was the bridge between these two. But now I think that that's taken over by the PP Bison, and it just does it so much better than the Tommy gun. It's frustrating. I want to like it. I really do. I want to have a whole variety. I want to be an SMG connoisseur, but it's so rough to use the Tommy gun. And in fact, I get kind of annoyed if I'm still running a Tommy, if I'm about 5 or 10 minutes into the game and I still haven't found anything better yet. It's a rough life out here. So let me know what you guys think of the Tommy gun. I know this is a pretty polarizing weapon, and I'm interested to hear your feedback on this one in particular. So coming in today at number 6, guys, is the P18C Glock pistol. Now, on paper, I think this weapon should be phenomenal, and I've never liked in the game, and I couldn't figure out exactly why it is, but I did some more playing around with it, and I've come to the conclusion that you need a suppressor when using this weapon because the muzzle flash is so intense when using it without, and when you're firing at this high of a fire rate, it's impossible to track and see your target. So putting a suppressor completely changes the weapon, but more often than not, you're going to be running this like in the vanilla version. So you combine that with the fact that this is still indeed just a pistol, and the micro Uzi can do everything this can do, but better, and truth be told, I don't see any reason to keep this in your setup. I really don't remember the last time I was killed with one of these weapons, and if it was just like a really early game thing, and yeah, definitely not a fan of the P18C, and I'm not sure if there's a lot of those out there. Now, coming today at the number 5 spot, guys, is the Revolver. This is pretty much dead center of our list, and I'm surprised that I didn't put this one a little bit lower, or I guess higher on here, but it was really hard to figure out how exactly to rank this gun, and I'm just kind of putting it in my mind as far as like practicality and what I would want in a situation, and I'm putting the Revolver here because of the fact that this fires 7.62, and those bullets are hitting extremely hard. Now, there's a couple other guns that I guess fire in a similar way to the Revolver, and we're going to get to those later. The Revolver, though, does have one saving grace in my opinion, and that's the fact that the damage output that it can do if you land your shots is devastating. If somebody doesn't have a helmet, you can easily one-tap them with this, and if they don't have a vest, you can hit them with a Revolver shot and then maybe whatever else, follow up a second one. The problem, though, the kick is unbelievable and ridiculous to control. I've made some pretty mean plays with the Revolver, and I'm sure most of you guys have as well and can vouch for this, but it's just not a gun that I would take anywhere past the early game, and that's a fact. But moving on, and coming in at number 4, guys, is going to be the Winchester, the good old Winnie 94. Now, imagine using this weapon in 2019. Keep in mind, though, it was really tough to me to rank the Revolver and the Winchester. Like, I think they're interchangeable for the number 5 and 4 spot, but the Winchester, I'm not really a big fan of either, but I would rather take a Revolver simply due to the fact that, number 1, the Revolver fires, you know, heavier bullets, and also, it's only a pistol slot, so you can still run 2 other solid weapons in your setup along with the Revolver, but the Win 94 is absolutely a primary, so you have to sacrifice at least one of those good weapons, or potentially good weapons, to run this gun. Now, also the thing is, this cannot take any attachments at all except bullet loops. And I've said it from the beginning and I'll say it again. The Win 94 is not supposed to be a good gun though, and I'm fully aware of that. It's supposed to be a novelty weapon, and they don't want it exactly being overpowered or competing with the Kar 98 or something like that. The fact is, if you were able to put a scope or some kind of sight on this weapon, it would completely change it, and I think it would actually be pretty viable. But the fact of the matter is, it's not, and they designed it that way, so I'm completely okay with it, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it is a bad weapon. Now, reaching our top 3, the most yikes weapons in the game. Taking that honorary number 3 spot is the RE45 Revolver. Now, let's do a little quick comparison, shall we? Let's compare this to the actual real Revolver. Now, the RE45 holds 6 in its magazine, while the real Revolver holds 7. Now, one thing that the leg up does have for the RE45 is the reload time is much faster, but that doesn't really make a difference when the damage output is significantly lower. You have to land a lot more shots. The kick is almost the same as the real Revolver as well, and the iron sights are just not very pretty. So I really think that this is easily one of the worst weapons in the game and is super bad compared to the original Revolver. This one is just like, ugh. Do yourself a favor, stay far away from this weapon. Unfortunately, it's not a super common weapon either, which is good. It's not like it's littered everywhere on the battlefield and people aren't running it all the time. But when you come across this, if your enemy has it, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. But guys, getting close and coming in at number 2 is the Crossbow ? Now, honestly, I don't think I would have put this on the list personally because number 1, it's not a gun, and I really don't think that this should be compared to actual bullet weapons. But however, the poll suggested that this should be included and up for the running in this list, and I guess I'm going to put it here because the Crossbow truly is not a competitor to bullet weapons, and that's just a fact. However, that being said, it does have some really unique properties to it that make it viable in some scenarios. You can one-tap any helmet if you hit a headshot with the Crossbow. You can also make this the only truly silent weapon in the game. Even the VSS, as quiet as that gun is and as hard as it is to track in reality, the Crossbow is truly the only silent weapon that is ranged. If your enemy doesn't see you, you can afford to whiff a couple times until you actually land something, but if your enemy does see you, they have a bullet weapon and you have a Crossbow, it's not looking too good for you, pal. I gotta be honest. Again, just like the Win94, the Crossbow is one of those tactical novelty weapons and is not supposed to be competitive with a lot of the other weapons in the game, and that's just something you have to keep in mind when you take this into account. And again, I wouldn't have put this on the list either because I wouldn't compare it to bullet weapons, but the poll suggested that we did, so I've got to put it at the number 2 spot. But I think there is a weapon that is genuinely worse than the Crossbow. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna need a drum roll for this one, please. Roll out the red carpet for the badge of dishonor for this weapon in PUBG. You might know what's coming up. You might know what I've selected for the worst gun on this list. And ladies and gentlemen, if you got it right, congratulations. Coming in today at our number 1 spot of the worst weapon ever to grace PUBG is going to be none other than the Mozambique. No, I'm just kidding. No, but actually coming in today at the number 1 spot might as well be the Mozambique of PUBG, and this is the SawedOff shotgun, and oh my gosh, this weapon has some issues. Now, on paper, it fires very similar to the other double barrel shotgun, and you'd think it would perform kind of similar, maybe just a little bit weaker because it is still a pistol slot, and I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt that sure, you can run this with 2 other weapons, and it might be okay up close, but the thing about the SawedOff is that it fires a pitiful amount of damage, and I believe that it genuinely can't one-tap somebody, like, no matter what range and if they don't even have a helmet or not, and certainly if they have at least a level 1 helmet, you're not going to one-tap them if they're at full HP. A vest, forget about it. It's one of those things where it actually kind of feels like a joke weapon, you know what I'm saying? Like, not even a novelty in the way that the Win94 is a cool novelty weapon in the Crossbow and stuff like that. This actually feels like a prank from the developers on players. Like, if you get punked into using this and you die and it's your fault, then they're just laughing over there over in Korea at the studio. I don't know, man. I actually used to like the gun, and when it was first introduced into Miramar, it was better, and then eventually ended up getting changed, and now it's just a former shell of its old self, and this absolute pitiful excuse that we call a weapon. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the list of the 10 worst guns in PUBG, and let me know what you guys thought about this list. Let me know if you agree with it. If you disagree, tell me why, and let me know your thoughts down below inside the comment section. But if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you're brand new around here. Now, don't go just yet. If I can keep you guys around for 10 more seconds, that would be great. I have a couple things to announce. First of all, a lot of you guys probably know that I'm doing some more content over on a second channel, which if you're already subscribed over there, thank you very much. But if you're a supporter here and haven't already subbed to the second channel, there is a link in the description, and I'm doing live streams and some other stuff that isn't PUBG over there. So if you want to hang out with me and you want a little bit more variety in the content, that is the place to be. But also, one more other thing is that I'm working on merch, and I'm almost ready to share the designs with you guys. It's gonna be an absolutely insane release. I've been working pretty hard on this, and I want it to be some genuinely quality stuff. But if you have any ideas that you think would look good as far as merch that I would sell, please share the designs with me over on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. Link is in the description. Both of those are on the page right now and also down below. So make sure to go follow me on there and share with me any designs for ideas you might have. But those will be shared very soon, and I'm excited to put that up. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, rating, subscribe if you're brand new, and have a good one. I'll see you guys on the next live stream or the next video. Peace out.